Cowboys OT is brought to you by Sleep Number. Sleep Number, the official sleep and wellness partner of the Dallas Cowboys. Yeti, officially licensed Yeti Cowboys gear, is now available at Stadium Pro Shops, concession, and on Yeti.com. And by Blockchain.com. Invest like your icons with Blockchain.com.
With that, the 2025 Dallas Cowboys season comes to a close. 25 does not go in favor of Dallas. 7-9-1 is the final record. They lose 34-17 to the New York Giants. Welcome in to Cowboys OT, everybody, alongside Barry Church, Nate Newton, and Isaiah Stanback. I'm Kyle Yeomans. We knew this going into the game. This was not the Cowboys season. This was not the year that Brian Schottenheimer envisioned as his first year as head coach. This was not the defense that Matt Eberflus thought that he would trot out there at the end of the season or even throughout the season, the way that they intended in training camp. But now it's finally over. Everything is in the books. The proof is in the production. And Isaiah, now you can move forward to 2026 after this loss to the New York Giants.
Yeah, I mean, the main objective here was to walk out of here without any major injuries. That was number one. Number two, you wanted to see your team be competitive and execute their assignments. Well, you got out of there with one. All right, you got out of there with one. One of which you made all your superstars made it out healthy as far as we know. We haven't got any word about any major injuries. But the execution aspect necessarily didn't happen, especially in all three phases. You had some flashes of good all over the place, but there wasn't consistency. And I think that's going to be the theme here as you guys listen up to what things we have to say. You had good play at the running back position. You didn't have, you had okay play at the offensive line position. You had 140 yards on the ground, so you have to say it was respectable, but you can't say that it was dominant. And I think that you were hoping to see that, especially if you're going to have your whole offensive line playing. Defensively, you had one of the more veteran players on your defensive line show his butt off playing for a contract, Javon Clowney. All the respect in the world. That's the effort that you were hoping to see by everybody on your team. It didn't necessarily happen that way.
Yeah, it's definitely on the defensive side of the football coming down to these inconsistencies that we've seen pretty much all season long. I mean, this was a glorified preseason game. So when you go out there, I can't believe the game plan was too fierce. They weren't making a lot of checks out there. It was a very vanilla defense, yet you wanted to see your defense do the basic things correct. Make sure you communicate out there. Don't have any big-time busts in the coverage or giving up a lot of explosive plays. Make sure your tackling is on point. And once again, it was like a roller coaster ride with this defense. It was, being able to tackle out there, for the most part in the first half, but kind of waning off towards the second half. These explosive plays that you've seen from this defense, wide receivers running wide open once again. It's just extremely frustrating when you get to that point. And I don't know where you would go on the defensive side of the football with this one, because you want your team to go out there and show the effort and show the play. And you've seen that for the most part, but it's just too inconsistent from this defense, and it's kind of heartbreaking when you look at it.
Yeah. 9 for 94, that was your penalties. This is what these gentlemen are talking about, the inconsistencies. When we do have something great happen, we'll get a holding, we'll get an offsides, we'll get illegal this, illegal that, and that is not how you play football. I mean, this was not a complicated game plan, either defensively or offensively, and we should have played better. The defense just, it was itself. This is who we are. This is what we do. This is how we play. We talking about, and I'm talking about the mass media. We talking about get Eberflus out of here. Okay, I got no problem with that, but make sure you get some of these other guys out of here too, because this is all about doing your job. This is not a complicated defense. I've talked to too many people who knows football and told me this is not a complicated defense. Some of our guys need to understand that if you're supposed to be in a certain place, you be in that place, or you try to be in that place. You got guys running all around, wide receivers free. We got wide receivers on the other side, still can't catch the ball, don't understand what's going on. We played our first team offensive line all the way through, and we played our first team defense all the way through. And this is the effort we get. Not good enough.
Yeah, definitely not the case. The Cowboys taking on the Giants at MetLife Stadium this week, and the Cowboys had quite the winning streak. Dak Prescott had won 9 straight against the Giants, going back to 2017 against his NFC East foe. We go into the first quarter where it's 6-3 Giants after a Giants field goal took the lead. Kevontae Turpin showing off some of that returnability that we saw as a Pro Bowl and All-Pro last year on the kick return. 84 yards. He does get tracked down from behind, but he puts the Cowboys on the doorstep of scoring their first touchdown of the day, and they would get it from Jaden Blue, the rookie with his first career touchdown, punches it in. This one makes it 10-6 Dallas going into the second quarter. After a New York field goal, Dallas looking for a 4th down and 2 conversion. They elect to go for it inside the 5-yard line. It's an incomplete pass. There was a holding penalty as well. Of course, it's declined turnover on downs. Then how about this sequence underneath the 2-minute warning at the end of the second quarter? Donovan Ezaraku works inside for what is seemingly his 3rd sack of his rookie season. However, there's a tripping call on the New York Giants. The Cowboys, instead of allowing Ezaraku to take the sack, they actually accept the penalty and take the yardage. That doesn't work out in their favor either, as this one's out on the flat to Tyrone Tracy. He's pushed out of bounds by Kenneth Murray, who decides a little extra English on the end of that play was enough. He gets a penalty flag thrown. The personal foul keeps the drive alive for the New York Giants, and they keep their ball rolling in the right direction inside that 2-minute warning. Just a couple plays later, Jackson Dart and company would take full advantage. This one over the middle in a wild shovel pass scenario to Bellinger, who then finds a seam and takes off. The big man rumbles his way in from 29 yards out. And just like that, the Giants have a 16-10 lead at halftime. That would do it for Dak Prescott. He was done, his season done, replaced by Joe Milton. We'll get to that in a moment. But first, it was Jackson Dart and company putting a little bit more room in between them and the Cowboys. This one made it 24-10 with the 2-point conversion. Later in the frame, Dallas trying to get the ball back. Finally, the defense makes a play. Logan Wilson's going to punch this football out from Tyrone Tracy. It's recovered by Javon Clowney, who had a phenomenal day on that Dallas defense. And Dallas gets their first takeaway of the day. That helps the offense find their footing again. This one punched in by Phil Maffa. Isaiah Maffa gets his first touchdown of his career. And this one makes it a 1-score game. Dallas not out of it quite yet. The Giants would tack on a field goal, but almost immediately after the 3 points made it a 10-point game. Joe Milton throws it to a defender. It's picked off at the second level. Giants get the football back, and they would capitalize again. This time it's Singletary moving the pile, pushing it past the goal line. He's in 34-17. That would be the final as Mike Kafka's New York Giants take down Brian Schottenheimer's Dallas Cowboys. Here's a look at the final stats brought to you by Miller Lite. 380 total yards allowed by the Cowboys defense. A balanced attack as well, 220 and 160 between the passing attack and the rushing game as well. Cowboys fall to 7-9-1 as they end their 2025 season. When we come back, we're going to hear from head coach Brian Schottenheimer on his thoughts after the Cowboys' final game of the year.
This segment is brought to you by Ashley, the official furniture store of the Dallas Cowboys.
Welcome into Cowboys OT here from the Star in Frisco. 34-17. The Cowboys fall to the New York Giants, wrapping up their 2025 regular season 7-9-1. The final record for Brian Schottenheimer in his first year as a head coach in the NFL. Here's what he had to say following the loss.
Yeah, I thought they played hard, man. I thought you saw how important the game was to us. I thought, you could feel the hitting, and really pleased with the way we ran the football today. And, this group, I've never doubted that with them, though. It's always been a group that they're going to answer the call. They're going to play hard. And I just told them, I said, hey, look, I'm proud of you guys. I'm disappointed in the way the season turned out. We didn't clearly win enough games, but every week they laid it on the line. And I'm proud of them for that.
Talk about momentum going into next year, but you finished the year losing 4 of 6. How can that be a possible momentum build?
Yeah, we got to look at it, and see what those issues were. Now that the season's over, we'll go back and we'll look at everything with a, fine-tooth comb, if you will, and we'll break it down into all the different areas that you need to in terms of offense, defense, special teams, running game, situational football, third down, red zone, all that stuff. And there'll be things. There's always things, and things that we have to address. We'll prioritize those, and we'll focus on getting better.
Clarence Hill, Dallas Cowboys, can you use this bitterness as a motivation?
Always. I mean, I think, anytime you come up short of goals, there's motivation. I think these guys are hungry. We have the right type of guys. There's no question about that. We did some good things this year. We just got to figure out the things that we need to improve and address those issues and coach those things up better, but always, and again, it's a long season, and we'll start the process immediately, though, of trying to figure out the areas that we can improve.
You already talked about first thing Monday morning, that your mindset, we got to get and make a lot of changes and make decisions on changes, coaches, players, is that your mindset?
Yeah, it starts immediately. I mean, there's no time where, you get into it. I'll study the film tonight and look at it on the way back, and, then we'll have the exit interviews. We'll go through the process. I love that process. I think that process is important, where you talk to the players, you talk to the coaches, you evaluate everything, and I think, like I said, there'll be some very clear things that we need to address.
So much been talked about Eberflus in the defense. Can you just assess how he's done and what do you want him back at this point?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, as you look at the way the game went today, I mean, we put him on a short field and the time of possession got kind of flipped around. But, again, we're going to look at everything. And, at the end of the day, we didn't win enough games. And that starts with me. I'm responsible for that. And that's where we'll start.
Ryan Todd Archer with you.
So Coach Schottenheimer taking accountability there for what happened this season in his first year as head coach. It's also the first time in 23 years that the Cowboys have followed a losing season with a consecutive losing season. So back-to-back years with just 7 wins, one ending the Mike McCarthy era, one beginning the Brian Schottenheimer era. Your thoughts there, Isaiah, as he kind of gave his wrap-up thoughts to what the 2025 season was?
Yeah, it sounded like a coach that was – it sounded like a preseason. I mean, I don't know any other way to really say it. It felt like it was a preseason game going into it. It sounded like a post-game speech from a coach that just finished up the preseason. I mean, it is what it is, man. I mean, it doesn't sound good. He's glad that everybody's healthy. You heard him say, it felt like the guys played hard. It's an L, right? It's an L. You took an L, you go back, you figure out exactly how you get better from this. There's a lot to go over, a lot of film to watch, a lot of things to analyze, but you got to hurry up and figure it out, right? Because the combine is in a month, right? So, or whatever it is. So you got to figure that out ASAP so that you know exactly what you need to address going into the offseason.
Yeah, you got to figure it out ASAP. And when I looked at this team and looked at, the coach press conference right there, he's saying the right things. He's saying what they have to do as far as making sure they look at, what the building blocks are. Who is this team that we can call our foundation? What are these pieces that we can build around? And then you also got to look at what caused us to have the season that we have had so far this year. I mean, whether it's on the defensive side of the ball, offensive side of football, special teams, you got to figure out which areas you need to get better on, and you got to address them. Because as Isaiah was saying, next thing you know, next month is the combine and the draft, and things happen extremely fast, and you want to be able to get ahead of that. So he's saying all the right things, and hopefully they incorporate that into 2026.
As you break this down and you start to look at the players, maybe this is a little bit too truthful, but smarts. How about look at smarts? You say lack of communication. I mean, that lack of communication, that falls under the umbrella. How smart are you? Can you make in-game adjustment, not only as coaches, but as players? If I run a 4.5 I'm not going to come up on the line as a safety, and I know I got to be back in the deep in the hole. You got to know how to play this game. It's called thinking and making adjustments. I know I wasn't the smartest guy coming out of Florida A&M, but when it came to football, I could think, I could figure it out. And that's what football players do. Coaches coach, put you in a position to win, put you in the best position to win. Then you and him get together and make sure you're in the best position to win. That's called film study, going over things extra in practice and doing what you got to do to be the best player you can be.
And you say you may not be the smartest one in the room coming out, but look at where you are now, Nate. Look at where you are sitting next to Isaiah Stanback.
Watch
Cowboys OT.
I'm security, that's it.
That's why you got the earpiece.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, when we come back here on Cowboys OT, we're going to continue dissecting what happened in Week 18, including the performance of Joe Milton. We'll hear from quarterback number 2 after he had his best, at least number of snaps, best number of snaps this year when we return.
This segment was brought to you by Ashley, the official furniture store of the Dallas Cowboys.
I feel like
I did what I was asked to do, other than the interception. Just things happen. You just got to be able to learn from it.
What can you learn from being on the field? What do you take away from something like today?
A lot, man. You get to learn the feeling of the game, the tempo of the game, the people around you, the people that go to practice with you. You get to learn them in a game setting. You get to know who they are. You get to understand another opponent. You get to actually go compete at a high level. So
you only get a half today, but this season as a whole, how much have you grown in 2025 as a quarterback?
I feel like I've grown a lot. I feel like Coach Shimmy and Coach Shotty do a great job of, preaching the quarterback position and just making sure that we understand what's going on in our offense. And I think Dak and Will do an awesome job of making sure they take me under their wing and making sure that I understand football how they do.
Joe, when did you find out you'd be going in?
Kinda, I can't say all week, but didn't know exactly when I was going to be going in. But this game, I knew I was going in at halftime. They was just like, get ready. So that was pretty much it.
How much can this do for your growth, your development? Obviously, you had a great performance in your final game with New England.
Yeah.
Is this similar?
I wouldn't say similar. I didn't do what I did in New England, but I feel like it's a game. I did some things out there where I feel like they were good. I also did some things where I feel like, I need to slow down a little bit and learn from that. But that's what you get an off season for, and that's what you get another season for, to go and have those opportunities.
From a team perspective, I know it wasn't the result you guys had wanted, but all week long it was about building momentum to the offseason, right? Is there stuff that you can take away from this game that could potentially help you guys heading into now a pretty long offseason?
Yeah, there's a lot of things. There's obviously things that we can clean up, but, shout out to the O-line, shout out to the D-line, and shout out to the whole team from pretty much just being there the whole season and not just falling off and, just not letting things just run past them. They just being there every day and just actually the intention of just coming to play and just being a team. So.
Can you just talk about, I may have asked this question, what's the biggest takeaway that you got from this year developing under Dak, Rashadi, that you can take into year 2 with the Cowboys?
Man, patience, just being able to be patient. But what I learned from 4 is just his understanding of the game. Like the way that he game planned, how early do he come in the building. Like, I ask those questions. And the thing that I love about him the most is, like, anytime I have a question, no matter what it is, like, he bound to answer that question. He could be doing something. He could be talking to somebody. Like, he'll stop what he's doing and talk to me, and whatever answer I need, he'll make sure I have it. But other than that, it's just the small stuff, like the small details from the quarterback room translating to the field. He be on top of his small details. I do a great job of reminding him, and even today he was right there making sure everything was going right.
So there are the post-game thoughts by Joe Milton at the quarterback position after playing 26 offensive snaps. Prior to this, he had played in 3 games, a combined 22 offensive snaps. So he had his biggest chunk of opportunity to show what he's got, and it ended up being kind of what we've seen already this year. He goes 7 for 13 passing, 73 yards. He had the interception. In his 4 appearances this year as the quarterback for the Cowboys, or as the backup quarterback, he's turned it over 3 of those 4 appearances. So not great for Joe Milton. I'll start with our resident quarterback up here, Isaiah. Your thoughts on what you saw from him today?
What we've always seen. We know that Joe Milton is athletic, right? He is a mobile quarterback who has the strongest arm in the NFL, period, point blank. That's about as far as I can go in regards to the positives that I've seen from Joe Milton going all the way back to training camp. When I watched Joe Milton in training camp, I had concerns about his willingness to stay in the pocket. I've had concerns about his loft and the angles at which he throws the ball. I had concerns about touch in regards to his ball. I have concerns about accuracy and then decision making. So all the things, as you have a checklist of boxes that you need to kind of make sure are addressed for quarterbacks as you're analyzing them, there's a lot that are left unchecked for me as I watch Milton. And I know that it is the role of coaches to develop talent. Players show up with talent. of different levels based upon their college experiences, and then they come to the NFL, and their development needs to continue in the form of practice, in meeting rooms, and then obviously in the games. And from what I've seen since training camp, I haven't seen a lot of growth out of this young man. I'm hopeful that they can address that, because I don't think that they're going to move on from him. So there has to be something that takes place within those meeting rooms and on this practice field that allows for him to make greater leaps, because it just hasn't been great enough for me this year.
Yeah, when I look at Milton, it's kind of just more of the same. You know, there hasn't been that growth that you were talking about, Isaiah, from, you know, preseason to now. And I get it. In that backup role, it's hard to get a lot of growth out there, because when you're practicing, you're on the scout team and they're telling you where to throw the football to, and you're not, you know, there's nobody coming around the corner going to knock your head off. You know, they're not allowed to hit the quarterback. So I understand it's hard to get that great growth, but we have to see something. We have to see some type of improvement from the preseason until now. I mean, in this game, you know, this is the last game of the season, just show us your strengths. I mean, if you're athletic and you're running out there, just go out there, hey, go through one progression, two progression, and take off. Show some type of strength, but we haven't seen that. We know you got the strong arm. We know you can throw it through a brick building, but do you have the touch to get it over the linebacker? Do you have the touch to kind of feather it in there over top of a cornerback on the deep ball? We haven't seen that. So give us some type of examples to where we can say, all right, you know, this guy has potential. This is something we can work with. But for me, I just wasn't able to see that from preseason until now. And I can't really explain how he can grow that way in practice, but we need to see some type of growth from Joe Milton.
And my question is to you, Isaiah, will it ever slow down? Will it? Because that's every quarterback walks into this league. They tell you quickly after that first 4 or 5 preseason games and regular season game, wow, everything's moving so super fast. Will it ever slow down for him, or can it?
It can. Again, I can't speak to what's taking place in those meeting rooms. Right, I really don't. I mean, you talk about who we acquired last year. I'm blanking out on the name.
Talking about Trey Lance?
Trey Lance, right? Trey Lance had talent. Now, was he as physically gifted as Milton? I'll say he's a little bit behind him. I don't think he's as fast. I don't think his arm was as strong, but he's a talent as well, right? So there is some there's a lot of responsibility on these coaches, and I've stood on the table a lot and stated that, especially at a quarterback position, I think Troy Aikman actually spoke on this a lot as of late as well. There's been a lack of accountability in terms of position coaches in this league and their ability to develop the talent that comes into their room. We look so much at the player, and again, we can't address or speak on how much effort and work is being applied towards their craft, but we can say that consistently we're seeing quarterbacks come through this league and staying neutral. And they're not growing. The quarterbacks that you expect to be great are usually great, and the quarterbacks that you say have talent and need to be developed, they never seem to develop. There's just happening too consistently. So when I see that all across the board, I have to look towards the coaches now and say, who is at your positional coaching group, and how are they addressing this room day in and day out?
And what happened to the preseason that allowed you to kind of say, okay, maybe there's a little bit more growth needed by Joe Milton? Turnovers. He had 3 turnovers in his first 22 snaps this year, and he had 1 turnover today in 26 snaps of playing at the quarterback position. So still growth needing to be had on both sides for Joe Milton. When we come back, same can be said about the offensive line, who struggled today against a good Giants defensive line. We'll hear from Tyler Booker and get Nate Newton's thoughts on how this Cowboys offensive line can take steps in the right direction.
You just got to treat everything with the utmost importance, you know, and I feel like that's something I started at the University of Alabama. I'm treating walkthroughs like a game. Like every time that I'm on the field or in the meeting room is an opportunity for me to get better. So just have to continue to have that mindset and just have a mindset of like, I will never be good enough. I'm never going to be a finished product, and getting better is always the goal.
Tyler, obviously one of the adjustments that a rookie has to make is kind of the speed of the NFL game compared to college. How do you feel like you've grown from week 1 until now, just to be able to process everything at the NFL level?
Yeah, I feel like that's where I've grown the most, you know, the speed of the game, because it's not like I got that much stronger during the season. It's not like I got that much faster. The game just started to slow down for me because I started to see some things more, started to have more reps, started to have a better understanding of the game. So I feel like I've grown a lot.
Devontae had his best season running. The league comes in, has some nice games. The rookies ran pretty well. So what does it say about your running game overall, out of what y'all did this year? Whoever was back there, you guys seem to pave the way.
Yeah, I mean, that's just comes down to who we are as an offensive line. It doesn't matter who's back there. We're going to open up the holes for them, and we're going to just build off of that going into next season.
Do you have any goals yet? I mean, about for you, off-season specifically, some things you want to try to work on, or are you not there yet?
I'm not there yet. I'm just being where my feet are, just enjoying this last, being in the locker room this last time with my teammates. So just being where my feet are right now.
I kind of like that from a rookie, Tyler Booker, saying I'm where I'm supposed to be. We'll figure that out down the line. Yep. He had a great rookie season.
Yes, he did.
He looked like he was worth the first-round pick. He and Tyler Smith up front, I think, are two guys at the guard spot that you can really build around 100%. Moving forward. But, Nate, I want to get your thoughts. Offensive line struggled as a whole today. Also, the final experiment of having Tyler Smith at left tackle. I want to get your thoughts on each of those elements.
Moving back inside. I know who he is throughout the league. He's a dominant left guard. Move him back in. BB, get better hand placement. Right guard, Booker, we just heard, he even said the game started to slow down for him. Mm-hmm. This game moves fast. There's a lot of grown men out there doing dangerous things, and he got better as the season went on. I think he was the 7th best guard at pressure rate, not giving up pressure.
Yeah.
So he improved as the year went on. Get your middle solid, then figure your tackles out. But you got to have somewhere in this offensive line that is solid. And I think you should move your man back inside, Tyler Smith back inside, put Guyton out there and pray to God that he stays healthy. And that's all you can do, unless you want to go out and get a free agent. Pay for a free agent. Don't go out and get some young guy. It's 2 positions you can't do that. I know I've got to hurry up. It's 2 positions we cannot do that. Linebacker, get a veteran, a bulldog, and an offensive lineman, get a veteran. Quit with these rookies. It takes too long.
Well, I know you said quit with the rookies, Nate, but I know the last few years the Cowboys have invested heavily at the offensive line position.
Yes, sir.
They're going into this draft with 2 first-round picks. If they were to utilize one of those first-round picks on an offensive line position, which position would you address?
I would address my tackle. Yeah. I would have addressed my tackle. I would go out and get me a dog at left tackle and throw my man over at right tackle. See how he worked.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't disagree with you. I mean, you got the great Nate Newton talking about offensive line out here, so I can't personally disagree with it. And I'm with you on that. I think you got your 2 guard spots are for sure locks. Those 2 are unbelievable. And all the quarterbacks I've talked to, and Isaiah, you can talk about this as well, is that when they get pressure up that middle, that's what gives them all the problems in the world. They can deal with those outside pressure because they can step up in the pocket and still be able to get the ball down the football field. Yep. But when your center and your 2 guards are intact and you're able to step up in there, that makes a world of the difference. Is that true when it comes from at the quarterback position?
Very true. The worst thing you could do is have pressure up the middle because there's nowhere to go. Yeah. Right? We've seen quarterbacks all the time break their fingers or step up in the pocket, get sacked. If you can't step up, there's nowhere for me to go because now I'm forced to be a mobile quarterback and have to get out the pocket.
Yeah, 100%.
Why we got to bring up bad things of breaking fingers on helmets?
It happened, bro.
That was 2022, okay? That was a long time ago. Now, the good thing about today, they did not allow a sack across the board. But Terrence Steele allowed 4 pressures. You had Cooper Beebe allow 4 pressures, and then you had Tyler Booker, who allowed 3, which is one of the highest totals he's had throughout the season. So definitely a lot of pressure there, just no sacks here in Week 18. When we come back, let's hear from Dak Prescott. We heard from Joe Milton. Let's hear from Dak as he wraps up his 2025 campaign. And then, of course, we will continue on with more Cowboys OT after this.
Tough season. Frustrating in the sense, I think I've alliterated this before. One of the first seasons, if not the first, of my career, right? I can't directly correlate my play to the wins, the loss, or the end of the season or overall success of the season. So that makes it frustrating. One of the best offenses in the league, explosive. Now, sure, not always to our standard. Didn't play like that every week in and week out. But put up a lot of points. Unfortunately, right, just didn't win all the games that we should have, and didn't finish out some of those one-score close games on our end, and ultimately leads us to a 8-9-1 record. It sucks, but it's the reality. A lot of good in this season, but unfortunately, it's not, as you said, right. It's not the destination. It's not the end goal. It's not where we want it to be. But thankful for the experience, thankful for the men in the locker room who gave it their all, the coaches each and every week. I don't think effort or lack of focus or intensity was ever our problem. So appreciate everyone, giving it their all and leaving it all out there.
Assuming you have a good relationship with Jerry and others in the front office, how much will you talk to them about the plan going forward?
Yeah, I mean, as it comes up, I mean, be blunt, yeah, there's going to be conversations. I'm sure they're going to reach out, and there's going to be other topics where I go to them first, right? And so there'll be a lot of communication, and I know I heard Shadi just say it at the end of it, this is the time, now that we have the time for that, right? You not only do your evaluations, but from there, you decide how you're going to move forward and what pieces change and what pieces stay the same and what team you're going to put together for next year.
Dak Prescott concludes his 10th NFL season with just his 10th career loss to an NFC East division rival. More Cowboys OT talking defense when we come back.
It's always the same. Go out there and play hard and finish. Finish where I started. I never quit on nothing, like I said. I don't care about the circumstances. The ball was hiked. Like I said, people out there coming to watch. Got to play for them.
I don't know if you know this, but that was your first 3-sack game you've ever had in your career.
I know. Believe me, I know. I keep up with all the. Damn, you ain't gonna tell me no, it's not. Yeah, man, it's cold out there, big boy. Yeah.
What's that mean to you?
Oh, for sure. I'm gonna play. I'm gonna keep playing. I feel good. Yeah, shit. Why would I quit?
What about here? How much
Oh, yeah.
placement?
A lot, man. A lot. I enjoyed this season more than I have in the past few years. It was a blast. Even though we didn't win like we needed, I met a lot of great dudes in this locker room, man. They with a great mindset, especially in that D-line room. One of the special groups I've been with in my career. So I enjoy them guys.
You said you want to.
All right, two very important things to take away from there. One, what a game by Javon Clowney. I mean, 2 weeks in a row, he's been the star of the defense, and it's really not even close to talk about how he's tackled for loss, sacks. He had 3 of them today, first 3-sack game of his career, as you can hear there. The second thing is he's going into an offseason where he is an unrestricted free agent, but he enjoyed being in Dallas, and he enjoyed being here, and Barry's making the money sign for a reason. Each of those sacks, more money will be required to bring him back. But all signs are pointing to him being comfortable in Dallas and maybe being a part of this defense moving forward.
Don't get too comfortable. Don't get too comfortable. Because I can tell you that from players, all 3 of us sitting up here, former NFL guys, you get to the point of the career that he's in right now, the position that he's in. Yes, he was out there playing hard because the name on his back, and yes, he's playing hard because of the fans and all the other stuff that he told you. He's a competitor. But don't get it confused. He's at the point in his career where he's a mercenary, right? He is what Nate likes to call John Wick, right? He's a hired hitman. So he's going to position himself to make sure that he can raise that price as much as possible for whichever team is in position to cut the check. You can like playing here all you want to. You can love the locker room. There's this thing called a cellular device. And you can text each other and social media, all that kind of stuff, direct message. The boy wants the check, right? And then Dallas wants to give it to him. He's going to be all ears, and he will love to come back, I'm sure. But if somebody else comes with a little bigger bag, there's only so many years you have left in this league. There's only so many checks you're going to get that have this many zeros. He's going to take that check.
Hey, man, Texas. State tax free.
State tax.
I'm just saying. But
just do the math. Florida.
Exactly. Just,
so
you
Florida.
know what I mean? Yeah, you ain't lying about that. But Club 42 member Javon Clowney definitely balled out today, and he seemed like a guy, like you said, Isaiah, that was playing for not only an extra contract, but he was auditioning for either this squad or the other 31 NFL teams out there to say, hey, man, this is what you can get on a regular basis if you sign me. And to me, I was surprised that the rest of the defense didn't play with that type of urgency, didn't play with that type of want to, that fire. Even though the season didn't go the way you wanted to, he treated this like, hey, this is an audition. I'm going to show these boys what I got out there. And he was coming off the edge, making TFLs, 3 sacks, fumble recovery. He was doing it all. But he was auditioning for other teams to let them know that this is the type of player you're going to get if you want to sign me. Now, it may cost you a little bit more coin than it cost you when I came here, but overall, he had a heck of a game out there, and that's what I wanted to see from the rest of the defense, that fire, that want to, that competitiveness, and you saw it from 42 today.
Just everything these guys said. I mean, Mr. Jones, them got a number. I mean, I hope that number is, can satisfy this young man, but if it can't, I mean, Ringling brother moves to another city.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And he has been bouncing around NFL teams as of late. So, sorry, excuse me. I'm getting choked up about Jadeveon Clowney. But when it comes to his later parts of the career, I mean, he's going into age 33 season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's had 2 great years in the last 3 seasons, one in Carolina, now one here with Dallas. Does playing around the same guys or the same system or the same scenario play a factor into that at all? I know you were joking and throwing Barry under the bus, but Barry, you've been through this before. You've been with Dallas multiple times. You were comfortable here. You still live here, but you still had to go take a check at the end of the career to do what you got to do, what's best for you and your family.
Oh, I love football, but family always comes first. Yeah. And you got to make the decision for your family as well. And Jadeveon Clowney, he's been these past couple years as a mercenary. He's going to play to the highest bidder. You know, he said he loved the guys in that locker room, and I'm sure he did. He had that great, teamship type locker room that they had here with Dallas. But at the end of the day, like Isaiah said, he's a mercenary, and he's going to go to the highest bidder. And this last performance is just going to stick into a lot of the minds of the GMs out there saying, hey, you know what? We can get this guy Clowney to come in here and maybe not be that, perennial Pro Bowler, all-pro type player off the edge every single down, but he can be a situational pass rusher that when he comes in there, hey, it's 3rd and long, we need this guy to pin his ears back and get after the quarterback. He can be that type of player for you.
I would love to see Dallas try to retain him.
Yeah,
for sure.
You think about the potential of bringing back your 2 interior guys, Clark, Williams, obviously Ezraku on the edge, Osa Odigizua, and then if you're able to bring back Jadeveon Clowney, those are 5 guys that you can be comfortable and confident with. While everybody knows you're going to bring in another pass rusher, that's not going to prohibit you from doing that. But if you got to go into your offseason knowing that you have 5 solid defensive linemen, you'll feel pretty doggone good about the core of your defense. And now you can start focusing in on grabbing one, maybe 2, pass rushers, but then also having some other guys that you can add in to those pieces. You don't want to have to be trying to fill in another role and hope that somebody can have the productivity that Jadeveon Clowney had. He's already communicated to you he wants to do training camp. He is a veteran presence on that line. You saw how much fun he was having. You see how guys respond to him. He's one of 4 other pieces on that defensive line. I don't know why I keep saying offensive line. One of those other 4 defensive linemen that is a solid starting block for you. Don't go out there and be wishy-washy. You got a number. You got to stay under your number. But make sure you guys solidify that, please.
He looked like that Pro Bowler that you were talking about. Oh, he may not be a Pro Bowler. He looked like it today. 3 sacks. He had 4 tackles for loss, a pass defense, a fumble recovery, and a forced fumble as well. And he did so on just 26 pass rush snaps.
On a mobile quarterback.
On a mobile quarterback who's supposed to get away from guys, not getting away from Jadeveon Clowney. When we come back here on Cowboys OT, we're going to take a look around the NFL. There are a couple of great storylines and playoff scenarios that have now come down to the wire. We'll update you on what's going on outside of the Cowboys organization right after this.
Closed captioning is brought to you by the Texas Lottery. Cowboys scratch tickets from the Texas Lottery are here. Play today.
All right, let's take a look around the NFL, starting first with the Giants win. The Las Vegas Raiders lock up the #1 overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. Pete Carroll and company are on the clock. Of course, the draft taking place in Pittsburgh this year. How about the Carolina Panthers?
Buckle up.
Keep on pounding as they are the NFC South champions at a whopping 8-9 record, thanks to the win for the Falcons over the Saints today. And then Arlington, Texas native, Arlington Martin High School product, Myles Garrett, now the single-season sack king. 26 sacks on the year. My goodness, he's been phenomenal throughout the campaign. And 23 sacks on the year, I should say, as he sets that NFL single-season sack mark. Incredible stuff. And Isaiah, you've always said it. If Cowboys are going to go get themselves an edge rusher, you need a guy like Myles Garrett. I have bad news for you, fella.
He ain't going nowhere.
There is no Myles Garrett-like player out there, period. He's one of a kind.
How much y'all think they pay Joe Burrow to lay down on that sack?
Oh,
I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. Come on, man.
No, that's how Michael Strahan got his last sack.
Come on, man.
Michael Strahan got his last sack by somebody laying
down on the pillow out there, man.
You know how Jared Allen did too. You know how many times Burrow had been hit today? He was on the ground a lot.
Man,
He wanted no parts of that stuff. Listen, there is only one Myles Garrett. And I have a little bit, I have some people that are in the know. Cleveland was not going to let him walk. I'll just lay it that way. People are like, why did he re-sign another He didn't have a choice, okay? He's going to be playing for Cleveland for the remainder of his career unless he supersedes his contract. He's an absolute beast. There's only one of him. There's other guys that are kind of like him. Nobody is like that dude.
Nate, how would you block Myles Garrett?
With everything I got, Kyle. Feet, hand kicking, scratching, gouging, head button, rolling up on legs, double teaming, chop blocking.
Turduckins.
Yeah. With everything I got, bro. That's a once in a lifetime player.
Yeah.
Like Reggie White, man.
Yeah.
He's big. He's over 300 pounds. He's super fast, agile, and he can think.
Yeah.
He thinks on his feet. You can see him.
He's a special dude.
He's special. He wants to.
I still can't believe the one defensive player up here
Just
is
saying,
calling
man.
out Joe Burrow for laying down on the job.
Got that on the pillow real quick.
Come
on, tag me. I'm just saying.
Congratulations, Myles. You got it done. 23 sacks in a single season. Incredible stuff. All right, when we come back, we're going to wrap up our final edition of Cowboys OT and talk about the Cowboys offseason. What can you look forward to moving ahead for Dallas? Some big decisions looming for the Cowboys front office.
To watch more Dallas Cowboys content on your connected TV, download the Cowboys Now app on Amazon Fire, Roku, and Apple TV. Cowboys OT was brought to you by Sleep Number. Sleep Number, the official sleep and wellness partner of the Dallas Cowboys. Yeti, officially licensed Yeti Cowboys gear, is now available at Stadium Pro Shops, concession, and on Yeti.com. And by Blockchain.com. Invest like your icons with Blockchain.com.
34-17, the final score. Dallas falls to the New York Giants in Week 18. The season now in the books, 7-9-1 under their first-year head coach, Brian Schottenheimer, alongside Barry Church, Nate Newton, and Isaiah Stanback. I'm Kyle Yeoman. Special shout-out to all those who have made these shows happen throughout the year. Couldn't do it without all of you. And, Nate, you had a special moment with a couple of our production staff earlier today.
Yeah, I'm always in the back talking to these guys because I work with them, and I always say, hey, bro, let me tell you something, bro. So they made a little shirt, man. But let me tell you something, bro. I appreciate that, man.
That's a high-quality photo, too.
Yeah, it is. You take a look at the you got the Nate Newton custom shirt from Paul, who's running our audio in the back. You got all these custom shirts were made by Devin, who, of course, does some great fashion work. And all of us up here ordered more shirts.
Like
We're
that,
like, hey,
yeah,
can we get an XL? Can we get a double? Can we get
we put it on Barry's card.
Yeah, it's all on Barry's tab. That's how we get it done here. 3 years, $26 million right there, baby. That's going to do it for us on Cowboys OT. Hope you had fun with us throughout the 2025 campaign. For Barry Church, Nate Newton, and Isaiah Stanback, I'm Kyle Yeomans saying so long from 2025. We'll see you with more Cowboys OT next year.